Okay, so today we're going to be talking about books that I do not talk about ever, almost ever, on my channel, but they deserve it. I still really like them. So this video was inspired by a conversation I was having with a friend. He just read Evelyn Hugo and loved it, and he and I had this long conversation about why we love it, and I realized I never talk about it on my channel, and then I thought, there's a lot of books I never talk about on my channel. Why? Because I don't own them. So here's my failing. Here's my flaw. When I plan a video and I'm gonna make some sort of listicle type thing, recommendations, I look at my bookshelves and I pick books from my bookshelves. Recently, my friend Lynn, hi Lynn, I love you, made a spreadsheet, which is always linked in the description of my videos, tracking every book I've read and reviews associated with those books. She's amazing. So now I look at my shelves and I look at Lynn's spreadsheet when I plan videos. However, there is a gap of time before the spreadsheet, well, not before the shelves, but there is a gap of time where I was borrowing books from the library and I wasn't purchasing them after I read them because money. And they never made it on my shelves. And it was before the spreadsheet, and they're not on my shelves. So they are lost to the sands of time. So in this video, I went back to Goodreads. Or for this video, I did. It really wasn't actually a dramatic act at all. I went back to Goodreads, I looked at a bunch of books that I read a long time ago, and I picked out the ones that are still great. Now I'm gonna talk to you about them because they deserve a little bit more love than I've given them in the history of you get it. Let's just talk about the books. Evelyn Hugo will be the starter of this video. So the 700 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo, I believe, would be considered literary fiction. It's written as it feels like a nonfiction. The general setup here is that Evelyn is a famous movie star. She's a bit in age now. I actually don't remember how old she was at the time of this book, but she's a bit in age and she's retired from showbiz, but she has lived a very long and prosperous life as a Hollywood actress. She's also had 7 husbands. She has contacted a reporter, I believe her name was Monique, who, for whatever reason, she decided, I'm telling you my life story. I'm giving you all the information. People have wanted to know more about me for years. I've kept very private. Suddenly, I'm not. I'm going to tell you everything. And through this back and forth between conversations between Evelyn and this reporter, as well as through her, just like the life story that she's telling, we learn about Evelyn's 7 husbands. And spoiler, something else too. It wasn't a spoiler at all, because I don't want to spoil it. I want you to read it. Oh, I realized the way I said that, someone else too. That's the way I want to say that. Anyway, this book is written as it feels so real. It's like a character study is what the book feels like. It feels like I just learned so much about Evelyn's life. And at the end of the book, I wanted to learn more about her. I wanted to watch some of her movies. I wanted to study her more because I felt like I knew her, and she's fictional. But that's a great thing when characters feel this real. And the way it was written, Evelyn is such a flawed lady. She makes a lot of mistakes, does a lot of things wrong, And she's not really depicted as the hero of the story. She's just depicted as the person that the story is about. And I love that. But I also love that it's such an honest depiction of Hollywood and of what she had to go through, what she did go through as an actress I don't remember the time, in an older time, what she had to do to get her roles and what she suffered at the hands of some of these people that she had to interact with. I loved the honest look into that. I loved the gritty, dark look into what show business was and sometimes still is. I also loved that Evelyn's flaws are very honestly depicted. They're not romanticized. They're not smoothed over. They're just there. Evelyn messes up and doesn't always act right, but you can also see the correlation of what she's been through and how that's shaped her to be the person that she is today. It's just so real feeling. I didn't love the ending of this book, but it was an excellent book. The 5th season. This is a trilogy that I owned and annotated and then sent to a friend, and like as a gift. It was a gift to them. And then they read it, and then I never repurchased it. I meant to, but you know, again, money, do you really want to buy things that you've already read? But I actually do really want to rebuy this because I want to reread it. The 5th season is so brilliantly written. N.K. Jemisin did something that I think no one else could do. I think that she alone is this skilled in this area. So not only is her prose gorgeous, but like not in a flowery way, in the way that I love, where it's gritty and it's blunt and it's brutal, but it's also written beautifully. It's hard to describe. It's perfect. This is very dark. This world is super dark. Okay, I should tell you about it. Okay, so this is, it's been a little bit. I don't want to do it wrong. This is about a world that is breaking. It's kind of post-apocalyptic, but not the way you think of that setting. The world is breaking, and we follow 3 perspectives. Esun, I'm going to need to look up the names. I don't want to get it wrong. Okay, you know what? It doesn't say the other perspective's name in the description, so I guess I'll leave it because it's possible that it's only 2 perspectives in book 1 and I'm forgetting something because it has been a little while. But anyway, we follow Esun, and then we also follow a perspective that is in 2nd person, which means it's you. You wake up. You do this. Which is weird, and I don't like it, except that I love it in this book. It's a book. Okay, so Esun wakes up to a brutal thing. I'll leave it there. And then she travels, and we experience a lot of the earth in its desolate state, as well as people along the way. And this book is written in almost a distanced way, yet it packs such heavy punches. Very personally, it's hard to explain. It's so effectively done. And then eventually there is a reason for the 2nd person perspective, and when it all comes together and makes sense, it's so satisfying. Gosh, I love this book so much. My friend G is currently reading it. Hopefully she'll love it. I'll link her in the description. Anyway, it's so good. I didn't love books 2 and 3 nearly as much as I loved book 1, but I really enjoyed the whole trilogy. I want to reread it because I wonder if upon reread I'll appreciate books 2 and 3 a little bit more than I did the first time around. Wonderstruck. So this is a book. Oh, again, it's been so long. It's okay. I remember it quite well, I think. This is a book that's written in 2 perspectives. One perspective is written and one perspective is illustrated. So the 2 perspectives are in different timelines. One of the characters is born deaf and one loses their hearing later in life. And even though they're different timelines, they do converge at some point, and it's very satisfying. Both perspectives are, this is a middle grade book, both perspectives are, they're from the perspectives of kids, and they both set off on a journey on their own to looking for different things. And again, they come together, and it's so satisfying. It's a book that the illustrations are absolutely stunning, and the message behind it, I think the story itself is very engaging. I read it very quickly because I just couldn't put it down, and it's so satisfying. This is a book that I have said for years that I was going to buy, and I still haven't because, quite frankly, I forgot, but now I remember, and I'm definitely purchasing it because this is a book that I definitely want to read with my kids. I Captured the Castle. I actually own this one. Where is it? Here. I just don't talk about it for some reason. I Captured the Castle is a classic. I would say that it is a YA classic. Like, even before the YA, the young adult category existed, this is like such a palatable classic for teens. And for me, I really enjoyed it. Okay, so two daughters live in a rundown old castle with their dad. They are not well off, and they can't fix it up. They can't really do much. They meet some fellers, and I don't know, it's a drama. It's a really interesting drama with very interesting struggles they're going through and stuff that they have to get past and have to work to fix their situation. I probably described that terribly, I read it again a long time ago, but I just remember reading it and just being like, this is such a palatable classic that is great for if you're starting out with classics. And it was just a really fun story. El Deafo is a middle grade graphic novel. This is written by an author who is deaf, and it's her story. So it's her talking about what her childhood was like from the perspective of a bunny. And so a lot of what's being discussed as far as the technology that was used for helping her hearing and what she went through in school, like a lot of it is more of looking back at what things used to be as opposed to something that's applicable and relatable to kids today. But I found it so fascinating, and I really liked the lighthearted way in which she told the story. And it was a story of acceptance, and it was a story of love and friendship, and I just really enjoyed it. Into the Drowning Deep. I did own this book, and I loved it, and I gave it to Daniel, and he never read it. Call out. It's fine. I don't even know if he would like it. Anyway, Into the Drowning Deep. This is a mermaid book. Siren mermaid. They're kind of one in this book. So this follows a team of oceanographers who go into the ocean, to go to a certain point at the ocean to study where boat crashes have happened, and they believe that there's some nefarious or odd thing about it. They think it's mermaids. And a lot of people on this ship, on this boat, that are on this expedition don't believe in mermaids, but they want the time at the ocean. They want it for their own research purposes. They want the notoriety. They want to have the time, but they don't care about the mission. Some of them do care about the mission. Anyway, they find mermaids, and it's so good. I enjoyed it so much. It has flaws. Mainly the ending is the biggest flaw. But man, did I love this book. I thought that the tension was really strong. I thought that the characters were really strong, even though we're following a wide cast and it does take some time to get to know all of them. I loved the interactions that we had, which I won't go into because, you know, I want you to read it. But I love the interactions that we did have with the mermaids, and I loved most of the things about this book. There was a prequel, Rolling in the Deep. I haven't read it yet. I really need to. Bird Box. I'll be quick about this because, you know, it's a well-known book. It's a well-known movie. A lot of people don't like the book. I thought it was good. I thought the tension was written well. I thought it was a really interesting concept. I liked it. I haven't read the sequel. I probably won't. I liked it as a standalone. Ender's Game. Again, it's well-known. There's not a lot to tell you about it because it's not an unknown book, but I don't ever talk about it. And I really enjoyed it. I didn't expect to enjoy it this much, but I thought it was such an interesting concept, and I really loved it when I read it. I haven't continued on with the sequels because, again, I liked it as a standalone, and it seems like the sequels have pretty mixed thoughts on if people think they're good or not, so I'm just leaving it as a standalone. I'm preserving my memories of a book that I liked. Animal Farm. Again, a not unknown book, but great impact. I loved it. I loved this book so much. It was weird, and it was short, and I didn't understand why we were doing it until we got to the end, and then, oof, I really enjoyed it. City of Ghosts is a middle grade book. I think I actually mentioned this one not that long ago, so I'll keep it brief. It's a middle grade book about a girl who's, she goes to different haunted areas because her parents are, I think, reporters on haunted places. I don't think they believe in the hauntings though, or at least not very much. I'm not positive. But anyway, our main character sees ghosts and she believes, and her parents are usually pretty off on things. And our main character starts, she has a dilemma that she has to solve. And some of it is unfortunately affecting her best friend, who is a ghost. I think that's all I'll say. I don't really know how much the description of the book says, but I thought it was really charming. I thought it was a charming, sweet story. I also read book 2. I don't know if book 3 is out yet, but I enjoyed that too. I don't know. I just really like this story. I think it's really sweet and a little bit spooky, but not very spooky, and just in general, a very nice read. North and South is a classic romance, Pride and Prejudice-esque, but different. And I thought it was sweet and nice and, you know, cute. until the ending. I loved the ending. It kind of was a reversal of what I typically see in classics, in classic romances, and I liked the romance itself. I liked the story itself, but then the ending was what kind of tipped it over into, ooh, I like this a lot. And finally, why am I ending it on the troop? I guess I'm ending it on the troop. This is a horror novel. Okay, sure. I guess we're doing this. This is a weird book. If you want something very disturbing body horror, very disturbing and upsetting, but also very interesting, here you go. I'll censor myself because I've made people sick before describing this book. It's about Boy Scouts who are on an island where there's this worm, and well, there's multiple worms, and if you have a cut on your body, anything, skinned knee, anything, the worms can get in, and then they multiply, and then they just keep multiplying and keep eating you until you're starving to the point that you'll do anything, including maybe kill your friends, to get food. There are very disturbing scenes in this book. Very, like if you don't like body horror, don't read it. There's also very disturbing animal abuse scenes, which I read very quickly and skimmed over, but I guess that's also put a lot of people off to this book. So know about that too. I loved this book because of how disturbing the concept was, but also because the conflict of these team members, these kids that are trying to band together to be okay, are also terrified of one another because you don't know who has, you don't know until it's too late to know. And if somebody does get hurt, then you have the conflict of, do we try to protect them or do we try to get them out before they start harming us if they get the worm in them? I really liked the conflict of it. I really liked the ending of it. I really liked the book. I have had very mixed responses to people that have picked up this book based off of my recommendations. Some people love it and some people despise it, so take with it what you will. I don't know why I ended there, but now the video's over. Those are some books that I have really, really enjoyed that I don't talk about a lot on my channel, and I should, maybe, a little bit more. So there you go. If you've missed these recommendations, maybe you found something that that you'll enjoy. Check out my Patreon if you want to. We do buddy reads, we watch movies together, we have reading challenges and badges, and it's fun. I post videos every Tuesday through Friday. I'll see you again soon. Bye.